Comedians and podcasters. Over the last 8, maybe 10 years now, they've been very clearly on one side of the political culture war that has undeniably swept America and much of the Western world in those last 10 or so years. They've been pretty decidedly on the conservative side. Not because of their social or political beliefs necessarily, not even because of a large deal of agreement with the right, but primarily because the left has been made, whether through its own actions, the actions of the right, psyoping and strawmanning the left, or people's inability to understand what the left actually stands for. It could be a combination of these reasons. The left has been made into the ideal punching bag for comedians, podcasters, shock jocks, and disaffected political pundits who want to demonize the idea of having any kind of agenda for making the world a better place. Everything from grifters to conservative, genuine dyed-in-the-wool conservative pundits have made a massive career off of making the left look bad. And so comedians and podcasters in this last election were one of the biggest boosts to Trump's popularity. Joe Rogan once had the largest platform on the planet. I believe he's like number 2 or 3 in the world of podcasts now, so he's not as big as he used to be. However, he is still one of the largest voices on the planet, and he spent the lead up in the election openly endorsing Trump, taking every opportunity to platform Trump uncritically, and encouraged his massive audience of American male viewers primarily, who are pretty much all of voting age, to vote for him, to vote for Trump. He celebrated when Trump won. And over the last couple months, Joe Rogan and many of these comedians and podcasters who stood against the left because they saw the left as like an easy punching bag, or they believed the left was attacking free speech and trying to destroy comedy, or whatever nonsense culture war talking point they fell for, now they're realizing they were lied to. Some of them to their face, in the case of Joe Rogan, who had Trump on his show, had Trump there weaving his little thread of lies, and he bought all of it. And now Joe Rogan is realizing that Trump lied to his face, along with the whole rest of his voter base. None of the promises he's made are going to come true, nor are they looking like they're going to come true anytime soon. Trump doesn't even look like he's trying to make them come true. Yes, the leopards are eating their face. And in the realm of this topic, I got sent a video. I got recommended this by a lot of you guys in my Discord asking me to react to it. And so I've brought this video up. It's called Comedians Sold Us Out. It's by a YouTuber named Kamal. And it should be pretty good. People have been recommending this to me and telling me it's quite good. Apparently it breaks down the entire phenomenon of comedians and podcasters selling themselves out to Trump. How we got here, how they realized their mistake, and the fact that there's really not much that they can do to undo said mistake. We're just kind of stuck with the consequences of their actions. But let's watch the video. I've obviously not watched it myself yet, but there will be a link to the original down below in the description, so go check it out and leave a like and a comment. It's very based of you. Also, consider leaving a like and a comment on this video. It really helps in the algorithm immensely, so I appreciate it. But let's get started on this, shall we? Comedians sold us out.
They called leaders. This included comedians, comics. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to.
Not much has changed. Go back to 60 years ago, or 70 years ago now. Not much has changed.
Here.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we said you're a great father up top. First thing you say is, I've got great kids. You didn't take credit. And then your entire answer, and I thought this was really cool, your entire answer is about how great your kids are. That was a very cool thing.
Thank you. That's very nice. I think I like this interview. I think
If you are just waking up right now, NBC News now officially projecting that Donald Trump has won the presidency.
This group influenced the presidential election in 2020.
Yo, listen. Don't even say influence. We decided.
We were the turning point.
Just know he was not up
until this pod.
True.
After the pod, he surges, what, 3 or 4%?
Yeah, it was a rap, dude.
Never went back down after that.
These dumbasses, I don't know why so many people on the internet, I guess I know why. I'm being a little bit rhetorical here. It is very scary to me that humans keep showing time and time again that with the power of the internet, they will flock to and create the largest platform possible around the worst, most insane pundits on the internet. The least qualified people to have a platform seem to get the largest platforms the fastest and hold those platforms the longest and have the most influence on their viewers out of any group. Like, it's really wild how the internet seems to, like, guarantee the worst case scenario when it comes to these people. Andrew Schultz is sad because when he got big, he was a liberal, obvious grifter. Those videos are suspiciously gone now. It's not suspicious, to be fair. It's literally just obvious. That dude followed the money. It's like the one Simpsons episode where Homer ran for Trash Man Leader. Yeah, it's like if everybody just decided the ideal person to get your opinions from was a Homer Simpson. You know, it's like, well, why? Why? You know, we've got scientists with platforms on the internet, and people gravitate to dudes like Andrew Schultz, not just for entertainment, but they get their opinions from this guy, whether they realize it or not.
Images of MAGA supporters literally burning their red MAGA hats are going viral online. And all of this comes a day after Trump berated Republicans as, quote, stupid and foolish for wanting more information about the disgraced financier who died by suicide while in federal custody.
You know what I'm getting a lot of? You talked to him, you platformed him, as if he was at 0%. And then we talked to him and then he won the election. As if he had fucking no shot of winning.
Hold on.
People were like, this guy's a monster, he's not a human being. Then we humanize him. That's what he keeps saying.
Since all this drama with the Epstein files, I've noticed that a few of these podcaster comedians have been speaking out against their little buddy Donald Trump. And no one's played the situation worse than this guy.
Like, there'll be people that, like, they'll DM me and be like, you see what
It really goes to show that despite complaining about the economy through the entirety of Biden's presidency, these podcasters, none of them are talking about it now. None of them care about the economy because they're very wealthy. None of them understand how to see and check whether the economy is in a good place because they're stupid and they're not politically educated, even in the, like, they don't want to be politically educated. That's the key. And so they just say whatever is popular to say. It was popular. It was a meme to say the economy was dreadful under Biden, so they repeated it. They knew people wanted to hear it. They knew people were just believing it because everyone was saying it, so they joined in on saying it. However, now, the economy is in a much worse place, and none of them are talking about it because there's no culture war. There's no highly well-funded, well-circulated, incessant culture war narrative back and forth about how the economy is in a bad place right now. So they're not even talking about it. You know what they're talking about instead? The thing they're latching onto as a criticism of Trump? Not that he lied to them about making the economy better, that he lied to them about releasing the Epstein files. They can't grasp the idea of, like, economic numbers being an important thing. It's too boring for them to care about. But the Epstein files, the idea of secret pedophile cabal in our government, and that there's a list of names of wealthy, powerful, famous people we'll all recognize that are all related to this Epstein guy, and Trump has the files and he could release them at any moment. That's what gets dumbasses like this invested in politics, and it's why they're not upset at Trump at all about any of the other stuff he's doing. Not even how bad the economy is right now. They're just pissed about the Epstein files. Now, a lot of Americans in general have really shifted on every issue when it comes to Trump. Trump is now on the bottom foot on pretty much every issue now when you poll Americans. Even his tariff policy, like, only a third of Americans support it at this point. So, obviously among normal Americans, bigger difference, but these podcast bros they're something else. They cannot focus on any issue that actually matters.
What your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink
Okay, there you
spending,
go.
reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
And as soon as little Andy posted this genius revelation,
That's the one thing that they're all still down with. They're still... Most Americans, or actually not most anymore, but nearly half of Americans still are in favor of Trump's mass deportations and how he's handling it. That's the thing that Americans, like, across the aisle right now really want, is mass deportations. Thing is, they want it on paper. Americans love the idea of mass deportations on paper, just like they love the idea of raising taxes a little bit to pay for social programs that take care of everybody on paper. But when it actually comes to applying these policies, they lose their fucking minds. They're in favor of the idea of a green tax and what effects it might have on paper, but when a green tax actually takes effect, they lose their fucking minds. A lot of Americans are super down for a wide range of sometimes really radical policies on paper, but in effect, in application, they'd go crazy if it ever really happened. And that's a lot of Republican policy.
to his surprise, his audience wasn't immediately kissing his ass, but instead was calling him out for taking 8 months to figure out the most obvious shit of all time, saying things like,
"Not being able to see through Trump's blatant bullshit for 10 years is honestly baffling at this point."
You endorsed him, proudly. You wore the red hat, posted the memes, excused the cruelty, justified the lies. You stood by when others were silenced, targeted, dehumanized. And now, after all the damage, you're shocked.
After seeing the dislikes and the negative comments, because Andrew sucks as much ass as he does, instead of acknowledging that he was possibly wrong about anything, he turns the camera on a few days later to say this.
What's up, everybody? Apparently we ruined America. You know, we were trying to hold the person in power, President Trump, accountable for not fulfilling some of his promises, and that was foolish, man.
Nah, you're an idiot.
That
dude.
was
You're
a
bad
foolish
person.
thing to do. Once you vote for somebody, no matter what they do, even if it's the exact opposite of what they say they're going to do, you just ride that until the wheels fall off.
Yes.
What a perfect description of how these dumbasses behave. They literally will, talk about politics being stupid because everyone treats it like team sports, and then they're incapable of engaging with politics in a way that isn't team sports. It's all projection. He just announced, this is like describing literally your affiliation to a sports team. Like, if you grew up in a given city and you've got a local sports team, likely you're going to be a fan of that sports team because they represent your city, if that's the sport you like. And you're going to be tuning into all their games. You're going to be rooting for them to make it to the playoffs or the Super Bowl or the Grand fucking World Series or whatever it may be. And even when they're bad, even when they're losing, you're going to back your sports team because it's your city's sports team. You're just going to be like, fuck, man. Damn it, I wish we had better guys on our team this year. Like, man, our players suck this year. Our coach sucks this year. Like, you don't just abandon the team just because right now the team is bad. One day they might have new players that are good. They might get a synergy that's good, a new coach that's good. That is how these people unironically engage with politics, and then they're always the ones complaining about how people treat politics like a team sport. People who say that never actually have any convictions. They see people, even on the right to a degree, caring about what they believe in and being passionate about it, and it confuses them. They can't imagine a world in which they have enough vested interest in politics. They are taking sides out of sheer hardcore internal belief in an idea.
See, this is why Andrew is such a weaselly little bitch to me. No rational person is making the argument that once you vote for Trump, you can never criticize him and you can never change your mind. What people are saying is for you to be shocked by what Trump is doing and for you to say that this isn't what you voted for, it's bullshit. The signs were there for anybody who was paying any kind of attention, and this little speech just feels like a pathetic way to try and save face. Because instead of trying to take any sort of accountability, you're acting like a victim who was blindsided. Donald Trump was...
They're desperate to not admit that they were wrong. They spent so much time not just denying the claims that Trump was bad, but defending Trump and attacking the left for criticizing him. To admit Trump was bad all this time doesn't just mean they have to give up on Trump. It's not just like the idea of admitting Trump was wrong. It's that they have to admit they were wrong and the left was right this whole time. And that's a hard pill for a lot of conservatives to swallow these days, it would seem.
President before. You forget that? And he did 0 things in his first term that would make any sort of rational adult believe that he was capable of ending any wars or decreasing the deficit. When it comes to ending war,
didn't he bomb, like, an Iranian leader? Like, in his second or third year in office during his first term? And then, has he not already bombed Iran again since he took office? Or am I making that up in my mind? Like, we're gonna go to war with Iran by the end of this presidency, or at least we're gonna have, like, a serious back and forth with Iran, not through Israel. Like, something's gonna something is gonna happen. And meanwhile, all these anti-war Trump supporters are gonna be zipped. They aren't gonna say a thing about how Trump did not keep his promise about keeping us out of foreign war. That's another one of the big things Trump won on, is the idea of just general isolationist policy. Americans have gotten really in favor of isolationist policy, like I said before, though, calling back to it, on paper. Having to actually live in an isolationist America that doesn't engage with the world economy would be a nightmare for us all. But Americans don't know that. Americans think that within a year we could make our entire economy insulated to just a national thing. Like, all of our resource procurement, our production, our retailing and purchasing, all done within America, with no outside input, no outsourcing, nothing. A lot of Americans think we could get that done in a year and bring back all the jobs and have the glory days of the 50s where you could work a factory job with no high school diploma and pay for a house with your wage. You know, they want those glory days back. Anyway.
wars. If you really believe that Donald Trump has any sort of respect from any of these foreign leaders, you're delusional. As soon as it was announced that he won, Putin had Russian state TV playing pictures of Donald Trump's naked wife.
Nude photos of Melania Trump have been aired on Russia's most watched state TV channel during a program supposedly dedicated to celebrating Trump's election.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I will say, it's wild that more people don't call Donald Trump an outright cuck. Because, like, every American has seen his wife's tits. It's like, that's some cuck shit. That is the most cucked president there's ever been. Like, on the scale of cuckoldry, all of America having seen the First Lady's tits is pretty damn close to being a cuck as far as presidents go. So Trump is the biggest cuck in the White House of all time. I'm not even wrong. Like, it's just a fact.
Election victory.
You think this is a guy who gives a fuck about what Donald Trump thinks or feels? Of course not. He has zero respect for it. Also, Donald Trump is the guy in his first term who increased drone strikes by over 400%. So again,
400%. He did 4 times more drone strikes. And these retards still died on the hill of claiming Trump was the guy that would get us out of foreign war and refocus our policy on America, domestic policy, America for Americans, not for immigrants and asylum seekers and foreign war. But here we are, 400% increase in bombings.
What the fuck would make you think that this was the guy who was going to end a war, let alone 2? When he was president the first time, he increased the deficit more than almost any other president in American history. And that was after inheriting an economy that was pretty good. So yeah, when you turn the camera on and say, this isn't what I voted for, people are gonna make fun of you, as they should. You look stupid. If you had decided to take any accountability and was just like, you know what guys, clearly Trump is a liar, I should have known that. That's my bad. Let's try to move forward. If you had said anything close to that, people wouldn't.
One thing that I think is important that we talk about is the fact that the economy basically all-time peaked. If I'm not mistaken, if its all-time peak might have been under Biden, but I'm pretty certain its peak was under Trump's first term, like a year or 2 into it. Trump did not touch the economy or do much that affected the economy for a while. The steel tariffs were like 2 or 3 years in, and the deficit didn't start increasing until the second half of his presidency. And a lot of it was COVID. A lot of the damage that got done to the economy under Trump in his first term was COVID. And do you know why the economy, I'm pretty sure, hit its peak in health and growth, and like ideal inflation rate, pretty solid economic growth rate, like across the board, was about midway through Trump's presidency, because he inherited 8 years of Obama-era policy and didn't really touch any of it for the first half of his presidency. The economy kept on the upward trajectory it was on for the first half of Trump's presidency, and you got to keep in mind that a lot of people have memories of that through a lot of Trump's presidency. Like, yeah, the last quarter really got kind of rough, like undeniably really rough, but for a lot of Americans, the doomsaying about his economic policy didn't ring very convincing, to be honest, because what they remembered was Obama-era policy culminating in record economic gains in the first half of his presidency. He didn't do anything to cause it. He didn't do anything in regards to the economy in the first half of his presidency, but there you go. The cycle of Republican recklessness, ruining the next Democrat, getting the next Republican elected, has really fucked this country. Yep. The back and forth. Democrat fixes everything, while incurring all the blame for what the last Republican did, fixes everything up. People elect a Republican because the Democrat incumbent always tends to be weak whenever a populist goes up against them. The people elect a conservative populist that destroys everything. They have short memories and forget all of that by the time the next Democrat is up for re-election. It's a big problem.
Have cared as much, but because you're an insufferable asshole, you don't do that and instead decide to double down on why voting for Trump was so smart.
But I don't regret it at all. I don't even regret voting for him at all, because what you see is all these Democrats that are starting to take up the issues that he was the one campaigning on. Ooh. So essentially what he's done.
I like that he zoomed in on the smirk of like that. He knows he has no examples of what he's talking about. At least none that are real.
And has pulled the Democrat Party over to the center. So if they start talking about these issues, Ro Khanna, who we have on later on this podcast, and then we got Ro Khanna, who's pushing up this bill in Congress right now, where he wants to release the entire unredacted Epstein files.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize like how much of an out-of-touch privileged asshole he is when he talks like this. And for whichever one of...
Like I said, the Epstein files are like when this guy thinks of moving the Democrats to the center because they realize conservative causes are what Americans care about, he mentions the Democrats are calling for the release of the Epstein files. The Democrats have always been calling for the release of the Epstein files, mind you, if for no other reason than the fact that we've known Trump is in them for years now. It was a safe bet in 2016, before we knew of any Epstein files, that he was in them, when he went to court with Epstein, when 2 women accused him and Epstein of raping them. And then their story was identical to what we later found out would be true when Epstein went off to prison and then famously did not kill himself. We heard all the stories and we found out what Epstein did, how he did his sex trafficking. Turns out identical to the story those 2 girls told years ago before that when they took Trump and Epstein to court. Mind you, they dropped their cases because of death threats from Trump supporters. Isn't that something?
Of his ethnic ball coddlers was that hit that ooh. Yeah, fuck you too. Trump hasn't even been president 9 months, and we're already at the point where we've sent hundreds of people to a crazy super prison in another country, where I think it was up to 70 to 90% of them have no criminal history. We have ICE arresting people at their own immigration hearings. The tariffs, one of those 2 things that Donald Trump actually ran on, Walmart already said, yeah, we already increased prices in June to prepare for this bullshit. So shit's more expensive now for no fucking reason. And we fired hundreds of thousands of government employees, including people who are, I don't know, in charge of telling us about floods in Texas. And you, the obnoxious, wealthy, and
apparently the manufacturing businesses here in America are suffering pretty hard too, which is super ironic when you consider what the whole point of the tariffs was. But Trump is doing the dumbest thing ever, something that no economist would recommend, and that is he's putting tariffs on inputs. He is putting tariffs on things like steel, Chinese steel. Steel is China's like biggest export, if I'm not mistaken, or one of China's biggest exports, or at least our #1 steel importer is China. So literally everything we manufacture in America that uses steel, way more expensive now, because Trump has a massive hard-on for specifically tariffing Chinese steel. Wood that we get from overseas, more expensive now. How many manufacturing processes do you think use wood in America? A lot. We're going to lose a lot of trees if we're going to be doing that manufacturing. Trump did universal tariffs. He didn't specify, okay, well, except for raw materials, we want to encourage manufacturing in America, so, you know, obviously we shouldn't tariff the raw materials. Nope, blanket tariffs. Trump, well, I don't think Trump even at this point believes it, but his supporters believe America could be a fully self-sustaining economy with no outside trade, and with America giving no business or money whatsoever to outside companies. It's literally impossible. We would be making ourselves into a third world country voluntarily if we did this. But on paper, these retards think it's the most genius idea ever. They also want to bring us back to the gold standard and abolish the Federal Reserve. Same types of people.
Entertainer say you don't regret your vote because now the Democrats are talking about releasing the Epstein files. And you wonder why people don't fucking like you. Now, for those of you guys who know me, you know I'm not.
We got hit with the ad. I feel like this is a good point to cut off the video, though, and, like, encourage you guys to go watch the rest, because this is just a third of the video that we've watched, and there's still a whole 12 minutes left that you guys won't have seen. So I recommend you go hop on over, send a like and a comment and a view over to the original video. It's very good. I really like this channel. Kamal, you have gained a subarino today. Good stuff. Good stuff. Very good video. Drop the like, drop the sub. You guys should do the same. I'll probably open that to watch later. Yes, definitely recommend watching that all later. I don't like to just re-upload an entire video from a channel like that. I want to encourage you guys to go check it out yourselves, so, you know, link down below. Anyway, folks, these comedians really did sell us out. They fooled countless Americans into caring about topics that have no genuine effect on them, to care about stuff that doesn't matter. And because of that, they were fooled into believing that what Trump wanted Americans to care about mattered at all, or that he would even follow through on fixing the problems he claimed were real. And here we are now. MAGA is slowly realizing what a mistake they made. It's been months and months of realization after realization from the government workers who voted for Trump, losing their jobs and realizing, oh fuck, I made a massive mistake, to people that exist in fields of science, medicine, and farming that realized, oh shit, voting for Trump was a massive mistake. We're seeing different sectors of society get hit by the reality that they voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. Faces meet leopards. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way, then please consider leaving a like and a comment on my stream or video, whichever you're watching, depending on when you're watching. Really does help a lot and means a ton. Immensely. Oh my god, what is making my nose so itchy? It feels like there's a little piece of lint right here at the tip of my nose, like right here. What is going on? What is happening there? It must just be dry skin. Regardless though, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to support this video and support the channel. It forces the algorithm to push my stuff to more people, and it helps a lot, so I really appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't already and you want to see more from me on other platforms, particularly my fan Discord, which is the main hub of my community and fan base, then please consider following my social medias linked down below and join my fan Discord link down below as well. I actually host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, and movie nights every week, every Friday there, so I hope to see you guys there. It's a blast, and you don't want to miss it, so make sure to join. And if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a subscription to someone else on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.